Hey there, my name is Julia Rose. I'm a psychic medium and Reiki master, and I pray this message finds you at the precise time you need it. As always, take what resonates with you and leave the rest for everyone else to find, as these are timeless collective messages. Put it where it fits. Okay? First card out, we have Wait for Winter. Interesting, because I'm recording this in October, which tells me that there's a season of rest and rehabilitation. I wanted to say rejuvenation, but there's a sense of rehabilitation taking place for you right now in this season that you're entering. And it feels like this has been a lot of emotional turmoil that you've been healing through. And you've had a lot of output, a lot of action, a lot of achievements that have been playing out for you that actually it feels like there are discrepancies in your energy body between your mind and what you associate success and safety with and what your body's actually comfortable with. So this winter, this it almost feels like an overnight change, but it's a seasonal shift that's happening in you. It's an interesting sign here. Um, could be having some Taurus energy, Aries or Taurus energy, just because it's a gamma sign, right? So maybe you're doing, so there's something about getting x-rays here for someone I'm seeing. Um, it says, wait for winter. During the colder months, the fairy queen of winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. Okay? And this feels really, really interesting here because there's an element of stripping away here of excess, of unnecessary, of overgrown or overdone. There's this peeling back and stripping away. That's really the phrase they're giving me. This stripping away of what doesn't serve you anymore. Things that have been taking up space. They've been occupying space in your reality, but they're not in alignment with your next timeline. So it feels like, yeah, that's the Oracle of the Fairies and the Psychic Tarot for the heart. So we have sacral chakra healing here, which tells me that this is actually a lot of emotional turmoil for you, that you have been healing the way you create, you've been healing your connection to your artistry, you've been healing your connection to your passion. It's a lot that has been buried and dormant here in your sacral chakra that's been needing to come up and come out, which is why this kind of season of winter, whether you're actually entering into the winter months or it's sort of this kind of closed off, shut down energy that you're entering in whatever season of life you find this, that it's this necessary back to bare bones, back to basics, back to the most essential things that make you fundamentally you, okay? We're going to get a little bit more information here. We have simply love, so that's equivalent of the 6 of Cups here. Then we have open up the 4 of Wands. I love that. And then we have take the, oh, actually, is that the swords? I always think that the red is the swords energy. 4 of Swords. That makes a little more sense. Okay, Spirit. Then we have 3, take the lead. This is the 3 of Wands. Take the lead. So I feel like to clarify this space of rest that has been opened up for you, and that really what it feels like. This is the winter, meaning like the space of rest. It's winter but also a space of rest depending on when you find this, right? So with this sacral chakra healing, you've been paying more attention to what it is that makes your inner child feel alive, what it is that actually sparks your inspiration and makes you feel loved. So this is feeling like not just a reparenting of the self, but this is like the grown version of you showing up and coming through to encourage and inspire this younger version of you. There's a real emphasis on listening here with open up. Yeah. I feel like the energy of this reading just has me so emotional because it feels like you are processing so many emotions and really coming into terms in a deeper, like raw, real, visceral communication with yourself, with the truth of you. And it's like you're recoding yourself by going back to basics, by taking away the unnecessary fillers, like distractions or the things that aren't working anymore. It's it's been a calling as much as it's been an activation for you to really step up and see, well, what is it that I really want? What is it that I'm here to create? What is it that feels like this is actually what matters to me? This feels worthy of my time. And I feel like part of this emotional turmoil and this emotional exhaustion has also been with the solar plexus. It's been a fear of taking action, okay? But you've been getting downloads for your inspiration, and it's time for you to really sit with that and ask yourself why you can't honor that. Okay? Things are being cleared out for a reason. Space is being made in your life for a reason. And it's so your deeper intentions. And I think it's interesting coming back here to this Wait for Winter card with the Fairy Queen of Winter saying your your manifestations come to fruition when they're aligned with the highest good of all. So it makes me feel like there's been some imbalance here. It makes me feel like there's been some imbalance here in how you understand reciprocity, in how you understand creating the creative process. Like the way it almost feels like it's a response to pressure too. There's a little bit something here around feeling like the way that you do things isn't good enough because you are never taught to value your own perspective. So the way that you would want to show up, the way you would want to do things and you want to create, when you have that instinct, you immediately push it down because that's what you've been taught to do. That's your conditioning. Whether that's just in your generation or that's from many generations passed down to you in the name of what's logical, in the name of what's responsible. It's feeling like you have come so far that now, in order for these next things to really come in and manifest, we're glitching a little to confirm that you needed to face the truth of why you hold yourself back. What is it in you that stops you from riding the wave of excitement? What is it that stops you from pursuing the things that actually make you feel good? The things that make you say, wow, this is really emotional. That really make you say, you know what? This makes me feel like all the crap that I've been through is worth it. Because if there's something that you know that makes you feel like it's worth it and you're not doing that, that's a dishonor to yourself. Spirit's asking you to say that they're trying to tell you that's your green light. That's your time to go. That's your reason to go. If there's something you want to do, why can't you just do it? You've you've done so much work to create space and to disconnect from relationships and patterns that prevent you from actually having the time and the energy to take action. So now that you have the time and the energy, what's stopping you? It feels like this is the last layer here that you couldn't see around the truth of what you really want. And you have to understand your template here as a starseed, as a light worker, as a healer, an empath, it's not a template that makes sense to heavily conditioned matrix thinking. It's not going to make logical sense because the truth of who you are is magical as fuck. Okay? Magic and logic, until you get into that alignment, they're not on the same page. But what are you going to listen to? Now that you've understood how you genuinely feel about the things that work for you and the things that don't serve you. Now that you actually can understand the difference inside your body. Again, they keep saying, what's stopping you? Maybe it is that you need to just let some emotions out. Maybe also that was just how you coped. I feel like, oh, that's really interesting. This is not for everyone here that's listening to this message, okay? Some of you learned to go into heavy analysis in order to tune out of the reality you're experiencing currently. Something made you feel unsafe. So maybe it's success, maybe it's achievement, maybe it's actual safety physically. Whatever this is, when you were growing up, you had a tendency to drift off into your head, into some of you, it might be books, make believe land, science fiction, whatever. Whatever this is for you, this is the pattern that Spirit's trying to highlight for you right now, okay? Certain things about your reality are so good that it's triggering you, but it's not because you're unsafe, it's because things are actually starting to go your way, okay? But your body can't tell the difference between something that you always wanted and that was never that you never got to have, and the difference between and getting something you want and that being safe. Because you were taught that not having the things that you want is safe. Does that make sense? Because your body was conditioned to not get what it is that you want. So every time you do get what you want, it's like, oh shit. All alarms going off in the nervous system, all red flags going up in the brain. Okay? And because you had the you learned to get up in your head about things, it starts driving on that train. Your mind hops on that train of, oh shit, something's happening. Oh shit, something's not right. Okay? That's huge. I feel like a lot of you guys need to sit with that and just digest that and reflect on how it's showing up. And I don't mean overanalyze like, well, this is what scares me, this is what blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, how can you interrupt that pattern when it happens? Okay? How can you interrupt that pattern when it starts? Getting into this next row here, I just feel like that's going to catalyze a really massive breakthrough for you when you can understand and shift and find a way to reprogram your body to to change your association unconsciously, to reattribute definitions. Okay, the things that you want are safe. Getting the things that you want is safe, instead of my entire life has been never getting what I want, so I'm used to that. That's what makes my system feel regulated. Okay, you're going to be finding ways in the next several weeks to pivot that. And it might be sooner than that, because I feel like you're just going to sit with this and be like, well, how can I really make it clear? How can I make it obvious? And then you're going to be having some conversations with yourself, some conversations with God, some conversations with your guides, and you're going to find a way to unpack that and make it make sense for you. Okay? I love that. That's a lot of solar plexus healing, like crazy. All right, we have come together, which also feels like solar plexus energy. I love that. Fairies like to be busy, and a group of them is showing you that many hands make light work. Working as a team helps get the job done. So, is there something that you've been wanting to collaborate on someone with, but you haven't known how to voice that? Maybe this is you actually trusting your guides, trusting in the unseen a little bit more, okay? You have been getting so much validation in the form of signs and synchronicities. So now it's time to trust that. It's time to trust that they're creating with you. Okay, we have observe, number 12. Ooh, so good. Look at that. Rainbow tunnel straight up to God. Totally tapped in, tuned in. Just turn up the volume. You're already on. Turn up the volume. Manifest. Ooh. I feel like I'm just hearing a bag of tricks. A bag of tricks. But I feel like someone here, between these here, it's like this is why your meditation is becoming so important, your meditation practice, okay? This is something that you've been working really hard to recognize that you had within you. It's just you didn't understand why. It's like I feel like you've been at terms or at terms, at odds with the terms of things. Not like how you define everything. That's for the first message. But this really is more like, okay, well, how are you going to manifest something out of nothing? But your defining mind, your logical mind is still trying to rationalize your manifestations. Your rational mind can't do that. But you've been really triggered recently, which is why this message found you in the first place, okay? You've been really triggered because your manifestations haven't been coming through, but it's because of whole first row here, okay? Needing to change the associations in you to really come to a place of aha moment, of clarity within your body and being that, oh, wow, wait, this is how it's supposed to be. I didn't know I was defining it like that. Let me change my definition and commit that to memory. Ingrain that in my being. Act like it's true. Then we have opportunity beckons, number 4. Ooh, the 4 of Cups. I feel like that's also like a wands kind of energy here. But yeah, here we go. 5 of Swords. There's so much happening here. If I was talking about the suits, I forget the suits. We're reading them as oracle cards, okay? So, win or lose, opportunity beckons. I feel like this is because wait, can you I just need a little bit more information here, Spirit. I wonder, it feels like I'm hearing you've been asking for too many things at once. And because you've been asking for so many things, reality doesn't know where to start because you don't know where to start. Like the changes aren't really panning out because you're not settling on a place to start because you want too many things to change right now. How can you make it simpler for yourself to do one thing at a time? Not that you can't juggle multiple things, but how can you take the burden of decision and make it easier? Because I feel like there's some degree of determination, but also a degree of stubbornness here. Why did these two come out together, Spirit? Why did all of these come out together like this? I feel like your voice is needed in spaces that you haven't reached yet. Okay? Your voice is needed in spaces you haven't reached yet. And that's one of the things that's coming in here. But Spirit's saying that you needed to have a more profoundly clear sense of self before you started being around other people's energies a bit more consistently, just because you have been pretty hermited, okay? You've been isolating and on your own and in your own energy for a while, and they're wanting you to be able to step out and step into more because your voice is needed in new places that you haven't been yet, okay? There's a reason for everything that I'm hearing, okay? So please understand that, like, if you ask your spirit guides, well, that's a download. If you ask your spirit guides to show you where you've been stubborn and you don't need to be because things are going to actually be easier once you start moving in that direction, you ask for that clarity and they will show you. You have to trust that your guides are actually listening to you and wanting to work with you every single second. Okay? Every single second. Connect with them more. It is not possible to over connect with God. It is not possible to overly connect with your guides. I guess caveat there is, are you still humaning? Spirit's just gently highlighting here an underappreciation for yourself already, okay, for the things that you've done. And they're wanting you to just shake things up a little bit. Things are going to be changing quickly. And I don't think you are quite ready for that. I think you were annoyed that some of these things were taking longer to manifest, but it's because you had to be energetically aligned once they got here, and Spirit timed certain lessons to happen for you between your manifestation and where you're at now. Between, yes, the validation, here it is, it's coming, but is it happening all the way over there? And everything you needed to do to prepare to fully step into that the way that it's meant to be for you, okay? That's powerful. We have fairy spotting. It's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. And again, that's how your manifesting is happening. You're changing the way you think about things. You're changing your associations and your definitions, not just of self, but of everything that exists in your life and how anything can happen for you. All right? If you have time, take action. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline, okay? See, I feel like that's such a that I feel like light workers and empaths and spiritual people have a thing around like discipline being a very 3D thing, but discipline is a form of devotion, right? When you love something or you love someone, you're always there, engaged with it or with them. So these things that you want, that you aren't disciplined to, you're not actually devoted to. And that's coming back to this first message here of like getting really honest with yourself, Spirit making you go through certain situations or desire clarifying experiences that show you, well, is this actually legitimately what you want? Or is this what you want? How are you feeling today? And how can you take action to change how you feel? Okay? Do the things that put you in the best vibe. All right? If that's rest, it's rest. If it's a bubble bath, it's a bubble bath. If it's having a cup of tea and talking to the fairies, by all means. By all means. I think some of you might be underestimating how good it's going to feel to do the things that are you're anticipating will be draining. Okay? I don't think they're going to drain you as much as you think. And I think that you enjoy the process. It's just that sort of, oh wow, it's coming back to that first message about breaking through the conditioning, about consistency. Okay? Consistency having been draining for you. But when you understand now that you've been taking a lot of time to learn how to rest properly, how to care for yourself properly, you can be more consistent because you're making it manageable instead of overdoing it and then getting burnt out. The key, like the whole theme of this feels like balance, I gotta say. I didn't show you these cards yet, but let's go into it. Fairy spotting, believing is seeing. We have embrace. Ooh, your interconnectedness, as above, so below. What must be will be, and everything that's meant for you will never pass you by. 21, that's the world. I just heard on God. Heal, that's the star. 17. The 9 of Swords. Darkest fears. Oof. And then the 6. I want to say that's the cups. 6 of Cups. I don't know. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. Embrace, heal, darkest fears, and giving and receiving. Yeah, you've been out of balance. When you see the number 69 or 609, that means that you're in a healthy flow, a balance, It's like the yin-yang symbol. You could also be seeing the infinity sign when you're in the flow, okay? When you're seeing numbers like 9-6, like 9-6 together, it's there's a misalignment between what you actually need and what you are doing or what you want to be doing. Okay? Yeah, it feels like your mind has been running away with you a lot here. And you have been breaking so many chains and so many cycles, but I feel like this is about healing trust. I feel like the people that you relied on and trusted with your heart or with your projects, with your ideas, with your money, you were betrayed. You were betrayed. And so I feel like this innate distrust has actually been making it really hard for you to maintain momentum consistently in what you're trying to build, because you're wanting to collaborate, you're wanting to take your life to the next level in all areas, but you haven't been trusting people to show up for you. That message there is to redirect back to you. Well, are you really listening and honoring your true needs? Are you listening to what your true needs are? Can you hear them? Do you know what they are? Because it's probably not going to be the same thing every day, you know? So you're making more choices now. Okay, wait, give me that download again. This is like healing. This is you finding closure around your fears of community, but also participating in society and being fully accepted for who you are. Okay? Yeah, there's a lot of things that have been taking a lot of time for you to recover from that you might not even be aware of, but sometimes aspects of those time periods in your life will come back around, not just because you're evolving and they're thinking of you, but it's a sign from your guides to say, hey, you still have a lot of stuff to look at around what happened here and what you still need to let go of or transmute. Okay? And I feel like having reliable partnerships, having reliable communities, people that value you without trying to make you become something that makes them more comfortable. I feel like in these past situations, in these past workplaces or communities that you were in, you were more powerful than the people that you were around, or the things that were really difficult for them were very simple to you. Okay? Not to create like an elitist mindset or some sort of ego with you or superiority complex. Yeah, but I really feel like this is you realizing that you stayed in spaces that you outgrew, and part of recognizing where to go next is understanding why you weren't comfortable in those places. Some of you, you're being made to be transplanted. I'm seeing like spirits like digging you up and propagating you somewhere else. That's funny. Like you're needing to move to a different space because you outgrew some place that you love. Okay, this could have been years ago, this could be now. Either way, you're still learning from this. Okay? There's a lot of layers to unpack here. I feel like for some of you, it's the work that you're doing now. It could just be community, faith-based places. It's really going to depend on your journey. But you're going to start to recognize the patterns and how it's all been adding up, okay? And I feel like your guides have been wanting you to understand, like, no, things are actually a lot better than you understand. And the reason that you can't go backwards is because there's nothing there for you that's going to help you move forward. Okay? And that's really it here. You're being called to new directions because you need new places to grow. You need new places to expand. Like, if the shirt doesn't fit, don't wear it. These kinds of things. If the shoes don't fit, don't wear them, you know? Like you have been you've felt so overlooked, and it feels like pushed down, like knocked down. What was the word you just said, Spirit? Compressed, like confined. That's really the word. You've felt very confined and restricted in a lot of the places that you've been. For better or for worse, whether you love the places or you were like, "Oh, I'm just here to like do what I got to do and then get out." Whatever it is, there was a lot there that tethered you down, that held you down. And you're moving into spaces that are going to be only growth from here, okay? And that might require learning some new skills. Absolutely. We have motivation. When spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been merely thinking about doing, they say get busy and do it. For some of you, it's time to put yourself out there again. And you know what that means for you. Act on your instincts to put yourself out there, okay? I love that. Well-deserved reward. I don't think you guys have been around spaces that you felt fully appreciated for the complexity and depth of who you are and what you have to offer. And because you've made decisions to either speak up for yourself or set boundaries or leave those spaces, you're severing the cords and the ties from that time. That's actually going to align you with something that it's not like you're overworking for a little bit of a payoff. You're putting in ease, alignment, and giving abundantly, and also receiving in kind. Okay? This is a balanced give and take that you have been learning. Balanced give and take. Yeah, third eye. So again, confirmations with the meditations. Some of you haven't been able to see where it is you're going, but I feel like some of you are afraid, and you need to ask yourself, what is it you're really afraid of? And confront that fear. Spirit is saying, confront that fear. Awaiting results. And the heart chakra. Your heart holds the key to overcoming these fears. And that's what's going to pull you out of the stagnant energy, okay? Wherever you've been experiencing this plateau. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to continue this over on Patreon. If you want to go deeper into this message, and if it resonates with you and you're like, fuck Patreon, I need a personal reading, book with me. The link's in the description box below to my website, all right? And for those of you who want to join me for part 2 over on Patreon, you can either subscribe for the monthly or you can just grab this post individually, all right? I love you so much. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to our soul tribe. If you're returning, you know I love you. And I will see you all very soon. Take care.